everybody, it's Frank. Welcome back to the channel. Let me get the camera situated a little better here. Kind of bumped into it or something. Yeah, Friday, I'm getting a late start. Or late jump. However we're supposed to say that. How you guys been doing? I'm so glad the week is over. I thought this was going to be an easy week, but no. There was just too much other things that had to get done. You know, that's what it is, right? So, what major news have I got for you? Well, personally, there's a couple of things. So, I actually got done with there was a little bit of whatever. I'm still got all my damn projects all over the place. I had these two, metal shelves. They're kind of like, they're like in a grill form. It almost looks like a barbecue. I'll call it a barbecue grill, right? But I don't know. They're like about this big. I don't know, whatever. So there was two of them, and I've been meaning to do it in the laundry utility room. So finally, I mounted those up. I really didn't like the screws that they gave me. They're into the studs, but it's just got the number 2 Phillips and. I don't know, so we'll see how they are. I can probably upgrade. I do have some lag bolts. I tend to use lag bolts. I kind of use anchors overkill. I'd rather just be like, hey, if it pulls out of the wall, then I gotta fix it, right? So I'd rather just. So maybe we won't put too much weight on there. We'll see. The other thing, which will be part of the America First news for us. We'll call it economic news, but it's more like financial market news. If you guys don't really know, I'll give you the setup here. So the 10-year Treasury did go up about 8 basis points. It's still, 4.42. Yep. The dollar did strengthen slightly, nothing major, but at least it's been slowly drifting up. At least it's not going down. The overall, let's see here, Dow Jones was slightly down. The S&P 500 slightly down. But the biggest news of the day was Bitcoin and most of the cryptocurrencies just went. They just moonshot. And this is what happens with crypto. It's like it's just, you buy into it and it goes down, 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 down for months and months. And then there's just one day where it just boom. So this is why you need to, if you're going to do it, nibble at it. So I cashed out and I did have some losers. So I finally sold some of my winners and some losers. We're still up for the year from a profit perspective. Unrealized profits are still pretty good on the cryptocurrency, but still, I don't even think it's more than 2,000. I know, guys, for me that's not a lot, but for what's in there, you would think I would get more. But it's almost like it's better off just getting a 4.5%, 1 month Treasury bill, and it's better. But anyway, yeah. So that was the biggest news there. Gold did go up 1%. Silver significantly gained. That was good news. And normally it's rare on a Friday for silver to go up. So let's look at next week. There's probably going to be some profit taking, especially with the 15 coming. I don't know. I'd have to look to see if there's any outstanding shorts out there, but I doubt it. So all my miners significantly went up. So I ended up closing some of my trades and about two of the miners I completely closed out. 3 of the miners that I had significant gains, I withdrew approximately 50% of those positions. Let the rest of that ride. So now we have a large cash cushion. But again, guys, I started doing these positions back in, I don't know, over 5 years ago. It was during the we'll say the first couple of months of COVID, and I ended up taking a loan against my 401k, which so overall, I guess it was a win. But if I divide it over the 5 years, yeah, it's not that great as of a return. It is still a return. I think. Let's see here. I think I approximately got maybe 1,500. So I guess that's like $100 a month from doing that, and whatever. So we tried. We didn't fail. We didn't significantly succeed, but it was kind of an experiment, kind of a pricey experiment. Yeah, it was kind of a pricey experiment, but hey, we kind of knew what we were doing. And I think I got like one more payment on the 401k, and that loan was for 5 years at like 3.25. It was very low, so I didn't end up selling or cashing that out because you can't get a loan for that anymore. So, yeah, I was almost hoping to get enough to pay my mortgage because the mortgage is at 4. But anyway, yeah. So what's going on? My take here, and it's been talked about for a while, especially around crypto circles. They've been talking, hey, the financial institutions are going to start buying crypto, and it's like, well, look, they announced it. Like, why the hell did crypto sell off? Why did Bitcoin get hammered? So yeah, I think retail came in here, and again, I don't fully suspect this to last very long. This might have been an initial buy-in by an institution, because or institutions. I'm not 100% sure. There's crypto people that talk more about it, and they know the wallets, and because the wallets mean like how much money, and they can see how much money is transacting, not necessarily who it is. But when big hands go in, which I'm probably something now. Well, Bitcoin's actually a decent market cap. I think that's around 2 trillion. So it does take significant amount of money to move that. But some of these smaller crypto, I mean, you could go in there and if you had like 50 grand, you might actually move the market for that particular crypto. Bitcoin, yeah, that's a drop in the bucket. Yeah, so that's our financial news. I did notice, and again, guys, I'm not. I don't see a lot of news like on any of my feeds on most of my things, so I will apologize. But like recently, I got an update, and I hate MSN, but they're not really showing that much, which is kind of weird. But they did. It's like I gotta have a separate section here. And the main news. Oh, what? I don't like when that happened, guys. I don't. Hang on. I gotta put these because everything moved on me. I don't know why they do that. So I had everything here, and when I jump back to that tab, it just. So anyway, one of the breaking news that they announced through Reuters is that the State Department starts firing 1,200 workers. Oh, that's like nothing. So yeah, I guess that's part of that. That's part of that. What we're supposed to bring back. Authorities, migrants. Oh yeah, California's going nuts. Actually, California's trying to, like the mayor of LA, they're trying to have money to keep illegals here. So that's their voter base. So it's no longer conspiracy theory, it's conspiracy. Yeah, I noticed that. What I also noticed, which I don't have a lot of detail here, and I don't want to go super deep into it, but it looks like Trump made and again, this is a comment. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's actually verbatim going to happen. And where did it go, guys? Why do they do this? But it was in regards to Ukraine getting some like missile defense system, which I think, depending upon which one that's actually being discussed, Um, Even though he says that and it sounds like it's news, it's actually not exactly news. So there's a couple different missile systems that we have. And there's some that are already there that haven't been fully aware. And there's another system which we've been licensing to other European countries. So those countries, even though they bought it from us, they're not supposed to move it to Ukraine. But I think they did. So, and I think Germany did that with some of their own tank. So it's really weird how some of the agreements are, because we license, let's say, we'll just say Apache helicopter, right? So they don't actually buy the actual Apache helicopter from the U.S. military per se. It's kind of like a license agreement. Like, hey, I got the license, so you can build. So they'll end up having a contract with the manufacturer of that. In this case, the Apache helicopter, right? Now, there'll be, depending on the agreement, some of the technology may not necessarily be on that for that contract. So they get, in the contract, these things are really damn confusing, but there's certain technology where we claw back and say, yeah, they might have it in there, but it's like a mystery box, right? They can't get in there. But a lot of the stuff that we have is kind of like dumbed down versions of them, unless you're Israel. So that's why I'm not too concerned about this. Like, they already have a missile defense system. It's already been in the region. It's already been actually in Ukraine. So I'm not sure where Trump is going with this, right? Like, is he trying to... I think he's trying to rattle... I mean... To say Trump's trying to rattle some cages this week is like a complete understatement. What is going on with the rest of the administration? And I have X, and I'm not on X like all day or anything. I'll get on there, and there's so much, you can't keep up with this stuff. But I thought it was kind of odd. But what's that Dan Bull? I can't say for the life of me, I can't say his last name. He's the deputy FBI director underneath Kash Patel. He's saying, "Hey man, I'm going to resign if Pam Bondi doesn't step down or resign." And then shortly thereafter, Kash Patel said, "Hey, if Dan leaves and Pam doesn't leave, then I'm leaving too." So, okay, I have a little bit more respect now for Kash and Dan. So, hats off to those guys if that's what they actually do. Again, it's what they say. We don't know. And I think Pam Bondi already said that she's not going to step down. So this is going to be very interesting. We'll see what happens over the weekend. I'm kind of upset that Pam hasn't stepped up. So I don't know. We'll give her maybe one more day, but this doesn't bode well for her. I had some expectations for her, and obviously it's just not happening. If you ask me, I think there's blackmail on her. So I believe she's being told this. So I think maybe she originally had the intent of actually releasing the list. And then shortly thereafter, either she was compromised or someone she knows is compromised, and she's, you know what I mean? This stuff kind of comes up. So, I mean, why would she have made those comments in those first couple of days saying that it's on her desk and this? So either that was a complete fabrication, which maybe, here's what I believe. I don't believe the entire file was on her desk. I believe either a portion or, like, I'll call it a brief, right? Like here, so maybe she thought that was the entire. So for her, that was the file, but maybe not, 10 million pages of the actual file, right? So, or maybe she completely fabricated it up. I believe it's like a little bit of both. I think she had some of that information. I think she wanted to look at it and then publish it, and then it was ironic because within like I think a week or two, I was like, "What's the problem here? What part of day one do I not comprehend here?" And everyone was like, "Ah, be patient, be patient, patient." We don't have any time, you guys. Like, I'm a very good optimistic, and I think we have good things coming. But this shenanigans has to stop. And I know there's shenanigans within shenanigans going on. But with that said, there was something else that I forgot. I know, guys. You get older, and I still got. Well, I have something fun to do here in a little bit here, but I wanted to come up here, and I'm looking here. Where is this other thing? Really, guys, now it has Kraft, Heinz, ketchup. You had one thing to do on this end, and I had it right here. Ah, come on, man. That is just... there was something else I wanted to say. I don't even know what... Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, thank God. This isn't it, but it kind of... Yeah. So, remember this... I think I had a video about it, like Trump versus Powell, right? Well, again, I gotta confirm it, but I guess there's like a letter where Powell is considering resigning. So... I don't know, guys. I looked at the letter. It did allude to that, but didn't have that in there specifically. So take it with a grain of salt, right? I mean, he's publicly said, "Oh yeah, I'm not standing down." Or wait, I'm sorry. I think what he said was the president couldn't do anything about it. So I guess technically he didn't necessarily say he was not going to step down, but hey, take it for that word. I don't know. I think Powell should be gone. I think the entire Federal Reserve should be gone. So, because if we get rid of the Federal Reserve, perhaps we may no longer need the tax system. Because if you don't know already, and here's a little sidebar, so this might be kind of like near the end of the video here. We'll close this. Come on. Yeah, we're almost at. So, back in, it was officially completed in 1913. The work before that, before the Federal Reserve Act, was it Senate? I'm trying to remember the Aldrich Bill. That's it. Yeah. Either a year or 2 years prior to that, but it failed, and all they really did was rename it the Federal Reserve Act, and it passed. And it actually passed on Christmas Eve, and the full Congress wasn't there to vote on it, but they had just enough votes to vote it through. So it was shenanigans and the back door. But also in 1913, the federal income tax was passed because if you guys don't know, the Federal Reserve lends money, and the way that to the government, and the way that the government pays it is through not just income tax, but taxes in general. So they use the income tax to pay the Federal Reserve. And the Federal Reserve is a private institution. So our country has been hijacked at a minimum since 1913, if not beforehand. And your favorite, what was it? Warburg. I think J.P. Morgan, a couple other freaking bankster, rich elite, satanic, pardon my French, motherfuckers. Hey, yeah, we need the government to give us free money, and we're gonna siphon all the money from everyone. So that was passed in the income tax, and at the time, only the rich were ever going to pay income taxes, and see how that happened. But guess what happened the year afterwards? Yeah, that's right, World War I. And actually, prior to that, all the major powers in Europe started decoupling from the gold standard, because you can't inflate when you're on a gold standard. So definitely the plan was to go to war, and to go to war you need to take on significant amounts of debt, and the banks lend the money, right? So the banks don't have any gold. They can't lend any money out to the government. So the government and the banks came together, and they brought us World War I. And they said, you know what? We're going to keep this thing going for all eternity. And we got World War II. And then, shortly thereafter, the military-industrial complex here in this country said, you know what? We got to keep going. Yeah, we got to keep filling those coffers up. So, and if you also look into like World War II, I'm not 100% sure about World War I, but the United States and parts of our manufacturing base, GM, Ford, especially Ford, they finance both sides of the war. There's actually, I think Ford, you guys don't know this, they actually built some of the aircraft. I think even some components for yeah, I know, guys. Again, but it's actually a historical fact. But anyway, that's just to say, that's why we've been essentially in a war stance ever since the end of World War II. You know, the money lenders, right? You know, Jesus went into the temple. You know, it was the best boss move, other than getting on the cross. You know, that was absolutely boss move. Because he knew what the shenanigans that was going on inside the temple. Plus, you weren't supposed to be making any money on it. But anyway, where was I going with this? Yeah, I totally forgot my thought there on that one here. Yeah, but yeah, we're kind of, that system can't. The evil elites and the satanic people are finally kind of coming to realization that their musical game of chairs is going to end. They can't keep doing it because it's just they're, especially this country, we're kind of tapped out. I mean, we've been tapped out. We don't have much. The rest of the world has even less. They're still trying to foment war, but they make money lending the money. They make money buying and making the equipment, and then they buy the stock of those companies, and then they make money selling it, and they just keep going around and around and around. And then we pay the bill, we pay the life. But yeah, so the world order may be fragmenting, and the power elites, they need globalism to continue, but it can't, because if the logistics aren't there. So we'll call it, this is kind of go time, meaning they kind of know that their time is ending. So we're probably in what I would call the most dangerous time potentially in human history. I mean, that's kind of, oh my God, that's kind of shocking. But when you have a rat that's cornered, and the rat knows it's cornered, and the rat knows it's either going to die or it's going to kill what's trying to kill it, right? So, yeah, now human beings respond significantly different than how rats do, right? Some people, especially evil ones, when they can't get what they want, right? You know these people. You probably have them as family members. When they don't get their way, what do? They make sure that everyone else does it, right? So yeah, I consider that a dangerous time. So imagine that, humanity's on the verge of basically victory because we're going to get rid of these damn parasites. Someone might go, boop, right? Or whatever, right? I thought maybe the cough, that COVID bullshit in 2020, I thought that was the start of it. But, yeah, they wanted other people to turn on other people, which to some degree that worked, right? But looks like some people are waking up. And I hope you are too, right? All right, with that said, yeah, I could go on. I know. This video kind of went out. It's a history lesson. Talked about finances. Talked about Frank's boring life. Yeah, if you guys got anything, put it down below. questions or topics for upcoming videos. Maybe we can sneak something in. To the diehard people, you rock. For you new people, you guys are also good as well. And if you're not subscribed already, please consider. And looks for that infamous stop button. It can't get away from me. All right, see ya. Bye.